Basically, what I was saying is that it's very unfortunate where we find ourselves in the context and historical context, of course, of our country, given that President Zuma is one of the founding fathers of this very constitution, which he's basically been found to violate. Now, with that said, the Constitutional Court's demeanor was such that adherence with the Constitution is a must by all individuals at all times. The court sent a strong message today to state that non-compliance with any court order will not be tolerated.
Mm-hmm. There were very harsh words during the delivering of the majority judgment over former President Zuma's conduct. Justice Kampepe saying, among many other things, that the court was undermined egregiously. Just explain what Section 35 and 36 are and how they were used in this case in particular.
Of course. Now, I think Justice Kampepe, when she spoke about the undermining of the court egregiously, she was referring to the statements made in public fora by the former President Zuma in the slanderous comments he made towards the judiciary and especially the justices of the Court. Now, Section 35 relates to the rights of an accused person to be, when brought before a court as such, during arrest, detention, and being brought before a court. Now, what the minority judgment tells us is that President Zuma's rights, in terms of the Bill of Rights, have been violated in terms of 35.3, Section 35.3 of the Constitution. However, Section 36 allows for the limitation of rights, of the rights in the Bill of Rights, in such a way that the majority judgment says to us, we gave President Zuma a chance. Now we are limiting his rights because he gave us no other option. He gave us no other alternative.
Mm-hmm. We played some reaction earlier on from people from the Jacob Zuma Foundation saying that implying that the majority judgment was emotional and, like you said, his rights have been limited, painting former President Jacob Zuma as having his rights infringed in a way that no other person in South Africa has. Is there a way of him avoiding jail time or disputing in any way the sentence that was handed down?
Now, the comments made by the Jacob Zuma Foundation should not be taken, they must not take the minority judgment out of context. Both judgments find Mr. Zuma in contempt. However, they go about the sentencing in different ways. Now, is there a way for him to avoid the custodial sentence handed down? The short answer is no. However, I do see a possibility where Jacob Zuma then proceeds back to the Constitutional Court and basically asks for a variation of this order handed down today, based on the minority judgment's rationale and reasoning.
Has there been precedent in an issue like that happening before, and what would the chances be of success if that were to happen?
No, again, there has not been. This is a first for our country. We do not have a case like this in our jurisprudence. So this is a landmark case in the field of law, and especially the contempt, of course, especially against a statesman and such a figure. The chances of success, I cannot comment on now. I do think they are quite slim, however, if I'm pressed for an answer.
Okay.
Mr. Zuma will have to explain why he didn't come to court when the State Capture Commission came. He'll have to explain why he did not file any answering affidavits and such. Now he will be asking, like I said, the court to vary a judgment to which he was not a party, which he was not in the arena of before it was given. That will be very hard for him that will be a hard hurdle for him to overcome.
Just before we go, just explain the direct access being granted in this court case. Was that unusual? Why did that happen?
Indeed. It is unusual in this kind of a case. I believe the minority judgment did point out that the parties should have started in probably the High Court. Then Mr. Zuma would have had his right to appeal and so forth. However, the State Capture Commission now went on the direct access route to the Concord because they believe that constitutional rights of the Commission basically were being infringed, number one. Now, what the Constitution tells us, it gives us a test for direct access, and that says that it must be in the interest of justice or for public policy. Now, if we were to take regard to that, given the facts of this case, now Mr. Zuma has not adhered to a court order, which was handed down by the very constitutional court. So this is where the commission comes in and says, but court, you handed down this order. Now Mr. Zuma is in contempt of your very order. So you give us direct access to the constitutional court and pronounce on this matter of contempt.
Thank you very much for your time this afternoon. Tubatsi Moloi, an advocate with the Pitjie Group, joining me there via the phone. And our apologies to our viewers for the break in transmission earlier on that Zoom.